Hi, it's Lucy Carlson here. Sadly, this has not been a very happy time for fans of cinema with the recent death of Gene Hackman. But I am happy to say that Lionsgate recently did a remastered reissue of one of Hackman's finest films, and one that I personally don't think gets talked about enough. That being The Conversation, directed by Francis Ford Coppola, the movie that Francis Ford Coppola made between the two Godfathers. I'm going to unbox this release and share my opinions. And this is a pretty big, pretty elaborate package, so there's going to be plenty to unbox. There's the cover art featuring a pivotal scene near the end of the film with Hackman's character visible right there. Top of the box is just plain. Bottom of the box has a line of copyright info. Side of the package, other side of the package. Back of the box is just blank. There is a backing card here. I don't know why they didn't just print this on the back of the box instead of including a backing card. I mean, anything is better than blank. It is kind of hard to get this thing open because there's no grooves or ribbon or anything to grab. At the very bottom of the package, we actually get a cassette tape of the film's score. The score, of course, being one of the best aspects of the film. Here's the insert folded open. Here is the cassette tape itself. Music by David Shire. We also get a pair of posters. Poster 1 featuring the Lionsgate cover art that we saw earlier. And poster 2 featuring the classic artwork. There's a pretty thick booklet included in here as well. And there's some great essays in here as well as photographs from the production. On the back page here we get some info on the restoration. And then we come to the actual packaging with the movie. This is a steelbook, but does have a plastic slipcover. So there's the front of that. Spine text. Back cover. Great shot of Harry Call playing the saxophone there. Back cover. And this forms a panoramic picture. We get the film on Blu-ray disc. And we get the film on 4K Ultra High Def. I like how they made these look like tape reels. And there's the art underneath with our main character doing surveillance. Francis Ford Coppola's 1974 seminal neo-noir thriller The Conversation symbolizes the uneasy line between technology and privacy, a topic more relevant than ever today. Nominated for 3 Academy Awards and winner of the prestigious 1974 Cannes Film Festival Palme d'Or, this harrowing psychological thriller stars Gene Hackman alongside Cindy Williams, Frederick Forrest, and Harrison Ford, and was regarded as one of Coppola's greatest films. Harry Call is a surveillance expert in San Francisco whose routine wiretapping job turns into a nightmare when he hears something disturbing going on in his recording of a couple, something a lot more important than adulterous goings-on. His investigation of the tape and how it might be used sends Harry spiraling to a web of secrecy, murder, and paranoia. When you think of Francis Ford Coppola, what's the first movie that comes to mind? Probably the Godfather series, maybe Apocalypse Now. I mean, outside of that, off the top of your head, it might be difficult to name a Francis Ford Coppola film. And The Conversation is certainly a great film directed by Coppola that really falls into that whole oblivion where it's overshadowed by his other more popular films. But what a great film it is in its own right. Sadly, once again, we did lose Gene Hackman, one of the all-time great actors. But the man lived to his 90s and acted for a very, very long time, always giving a great performance regardless of the quality of the film. In The Conversation, he stars as surveillance expert Harry Call, a man who is certainly paranoid in his own way, but is renowned in his industry as the absolute best wiretapper, and it's because of this that he's garnered the respect of his industry, but it also gives him something of an identity crisis when he learns that some of the information that he's attained may be used to harm others. The co-starring cast isn't half bad either, including his employee at the beginning of the film, played by John Cazale. I hope I'm pronouncing that name right. I've heard it pronounced as Cazale, I've heard Cazale, I've heard Cazali. I don't know which one is correct, but it's the guy that played Fredo in The Godfather, and he plays his employee with whom he has an uneasy relationship, and that's certainly one of the highlights of the film for me. But there's also supporting parts from Cindy Williams. You even get a very, very young pre-Star Wars Harrison Ford, playing as the man who works for the director that this information is intended for. And the director of the organization that the wiretap job is done for is portrayed by Robert Duvall, who, for some strange reason, is uncredited in the film. but there are some great performances in the movie, some great moments. I just love Harry Call's nature and how he's so obsessed with his work, and to the point that it begins affecting his personal relationships. It's an interesting look at a very interesting leading man. Definitely goes against the grain when it comes to leading men in films. And that piano score by David Shire, once you hear these tunes, you're not going to get them out of your head for the remainder of the film, and that perfectly adds to the unsettling atmosphere. And the final scene showing just how neurotic Harry Call really is, which I won't spoil here, of course, just adds to the overall charm of the film. The movie clocks in at nearly 2 hours. It's not an action movie. It's not a movie that's packed with explosions and violence, but it keeps you on the edge of your seat with suspense nonetheless and gives you a likable leading man. There are a few scenes of violence, but again, that's never the emphasis of the film itself. This is more of a character-driven piece, and it's all the better for it. I'm happy to say that the conversation looks very good in this new restoration put out by Lionsgate. All the natural film grain is intact, and the color scheme looks as good as ever. There's a pretty high amount of detail. The movie, of course, it's not going to be home theater demo reference material, but it is the most faithful transfer imaginable with no unwanted noise reduction or digital tinkering. I'm very happy with how the movie looks, and I think longtime fans will be too. And of course, Lionsgate pulls out all the stops with bonus features. There are a ton of them on here, and they're actually right on the 4K disc. They're also on the Blu-ray as well, but you don't have to switch discs to watch the bonuses, and that's always kind of nice. I mean, you get everything from a Q&A with Walter Murch. There's a commentary from Francis Ford Coppola, a look at the script, some screen tests, a vintage interview with Gene Hackman. The list goes on. It's a surprisingly good supplement package for a great film. This release from Lionsgate, if you can get your hands on it, comes very highly recommended. How about you? What are your thoughts on the conversation? Where would you rank this in the filmography of Francis Ford Coppola? Do you think it's Gene Hackman's best performance? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.